Imagine you are standing on a jagged, salt-sprayed cliff on a tiny island called Patmos. You are an old man, a political prisoner, and suddenly the sky above the Aegean Sea doesn't just open, it dissolves. You aren't looking at clouds anymore. You are looking at the engine room of the universe. You see dragons with 7 heads, horses that change color like the seasons, and a city made of translucent gold descending from the stars. This is the experience of John the Apostle, and for 2,000 years, his vision has been the ultimate mystery of human history. The Book of Revelation is often treated like a frightening horror movie or a confusing puzzle that no one can solve. People see the strange beasts and the falling stars and they want to look away. But what if I told you that Revelation isn't meant to be a secret code for the elite? What if it's actually a beautiful, complex picture book where every single image is a deliberate callback to something else? In the ancient world, symbols were the universal language, and today we are going to decode that language. We are going to explore the hidden meaning behind every major symbol in the apocalypse, moving past the fear and getting straight into the heart of the message. We are peeling back the layers of the most controversial book ever written to see what it actually says about our world, our future, and the ultimate victory of light over darkness. To understand Revelation, we first have to understand the number 7. It's everywhere. You have 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 bowls, and 7 lamps. In the biblical world, 7 isn't just a digit that comes after 6. It's the number of completion and perfection. It goes all the way back to the beginning of the story, where the world was finished in 7 days. When John writes to 7 churches, he isn't just writing to 7 specific locations in what is now Turkey. He is writing to the complete, universal church of all time. He is saying that this message is whole and finished. So whenever you see the number 7 in this vision, your brain should immediately think this is the full picture. It's a signal that whatever is happening involves the total reach of the divine plan. Nothing is missing and nothing is accidental. Immediately after the introduction, John sees a figure standing among 7 golden lampstands. This figure has hair like white wool, eyes like blazing fire, and a voice like the roar of crashing waves. This is the first major symbol, the Son of Man. The white hair represents the wisdom of the ages. The fire in the eyes represents a gaze that sees through every lie, and the bronze feet represent a strength that cannot be shaken. But look at those lampstands. He tells us plainly that the lampstands are the churches. Think about what a lampstand does. It doesn't create light. It just holds it up so the whole room can see. The symbol suggests that the role of people in the world isn't to be the source of truth, but to be the vessel that carries it into the dark. If the lamp goes out, the stand is just a piece of metal. It's a powerful image of purpose and responsibility. Then we get to the throne room. This is the most high fantasy part of the book. John sees a sea of glass that looks like crystal. If you've ever stood by a stormy ocean, you know that water is usually a symbol of chaos and danger. But in the presence of the Creator, the sea is glass. It is calm. It is solid. The chaos of the world is perfectly stilled. Around the throne are 4 living creatures covered in eyes. One looks like a lion, one an ox, one a man, and one an eagle. These represent the pinnacle of all creation, the wildest of beasts, the strongest of domestic animals, the height of human intelligence, and the swiftest of birds. The eyes mean they are fully aware. Nothing in the universe happens without them seeing it. They represent the earth itself constantly acknowledging its source. This isn't a scary monster movie. It's a cosmic celebration of life. Now we get to the most controversial symbols, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. When the first 4 seals of the scroll are opened, these riders go out into the world. The first is on a white horse, carrying a bow and wearing a crown. For a long time, people thought this was a hero. But in the context of Revelation, white can represent a counterfeit purity. This rider represents the spirit of conquest and expansionism. The second horse is red, representing the fire of social conflict and the removal of peace from the earth. The third is black, carrying a pair of scales and announcing high prices for grain. This is the symbol of economic inequality, the idea that luxury items for the rich are protected while the basic food for the poor becomes unaffordable. The fourth horse is pale, sickly green, representing the natural result of the first 3, the physical breakdown of society. These aren't just future events. They are the recurring cycles of human history. They are what happens when power is left to its own devices without a moral compass. They represent the hidden forces that drive the rise and fall of nations. But then, in the middle of all this intensity, we meet the Lion of the tribe of Judah. John is told that the lion has won the victory and can open the scroll. But when John turns to look at the lion, what does he see? He sees a lamb that looks like it has been sacrificed but is standing up. This is the most important subversion in the entire book. The power that moves the universe isn't the power of the biting lion, it's the power of the selfless lamb. It's a total reversal of how we think about strength. In our world, the lion wins by eating the lamb. In Revelation, the lamb wins by being willing to give everything for others. This symbol is the key that unlocks the whole book. It tells us that the ultimate victory doesn't come through military might or physical force, but through the quiet, persistent power of love and sacrifice. Next, we see the symbol of the incense. John describes golden bowls full of incense, and he tells us directly that these are the prayers of the people. This is such an encouraging symbol. To the people suffering on earth, their words might feel small and unheard. But in the throne room of the universe, those words are treated like a fragrant, valuable substance. They fill the room. They move the hand of the Creator. It's a way of saying that the smallest whisper of a hurting soul carries more weight in the spiritual realm than the loudest decree of an emperor on his throne. Then come the 7 trumpets. In the ancient world, trumpets were used for 2 things: to gather people for a celebration, or to warn them of an approaching army. These trumpets represent the wake-up calls of history. When you see the environment struggling, the water turning bitter, or the trees being scorched, these are interpreted in Revelation as signals. They are the earth itself groaning and telling humanity that something is wrong. The symbol of the wormwood star falling into the water, making it bitter, reminds us of the consequences of ignoring the spiritual and physical laws of nature. It's not a random curse. It's the natural result of a world out of balance. One of the most vivid and strange symbols is the woman clothed with the sun. She has the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars. This woman represents the people of the covenant throughout history. She is the community that brings light into the world. She is pursued by a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns. The dragon is an ancient symbol of chaos and the predator that wants to consume the future. But the woman is given the wings of a great eagle to fly to a place of safety. This represents the idea that even when the dark forces of the world seem overwhelming, the community of faith has a hidden source of protection and sustenance that the world cannot see. The beast from the sea and the beast from the earth. In the Roman world where John was writing, the sea was the way into the empire, and the land was where the local authorities lived. The beast from the sea represents political power that has become arrogant and demands to be treated as divine. It has multiple heads because empires come and go, but the spirit of empire, the desire to control everyone, remains the same. The beast from the earth, often called the false prophet, represents the propaganda machine. It's the voice that convinces people to follow the first beast, often using signs and wonders. Together, they represent the unholy alliance between political power and deceptive information. They represent any system that tries to take the place of the divine in a person's life. Then there is the mark of the beast. People have spent thousands of years trying to guess what this physical mark might be, but the symbol is deeper than a tattoo or a chip. In the Bible, having something on your forehead means it controls your thoughts, and having something on your hand means it controls your actions. The mark is the opposite of the seal of the Creator. It represents a life that is totally devoted to the beast system, a life where the pursuit of power and money has become the ultimate goal. The number 666 is a symbol of falling short. If 7 is perfection, 6 is always one step away. 3 6s in a row represent a system that tries 3 times as hard to be perfect, but remains fundamentally broken and human. It's the number of a man, not a god. It's a warning against putting our total trust in human systems that promise us security at the cost of our souls. Now we move to the fall of Babylon the Great. In Revelation, Babylon isn't just an ancient city. It's a symbol of the world's seductive, materialistic culture. She is described as a woman dressed in purple and scarlet, covered in gold and pearls, holding a golden cup full of abominations. She represents the easy path, the luxury that comes at the expense of others. When she falls, the merchants of the earth weep because no one buys their cargoes anymore. This is a profound economic symbol. It tells us that a society built purely on the consumption of luxury goods and the exploitation of people is destined to collapse under its own weight. The fall of Babylon is a victory for those who were pushed to the edges of society. It's the end of the empire of things. After the darkness falls, we see the symbol of the white horse once again, but this time the rider is different. His name is Faithful and True. He doesn't carry a bow. He has a sword coming out of his mouth. Now think about that image for a second. A sword in the mouth is a very impractical weapon for a literal soldier, but it's a perfect symbol for the word. This rider doesn't win through physical violence. He wins through the truth. He speaks, and the lies of the beasts dissolve. His robe is dipped in blood, but it's his own blood from the sacrifice of the Lamb. It's the ultimate image of the victory of reality over illusion. The war in Revelation is won before it even begins because the truth cannot be permanently silenced. Then we reach the 1,000 years, often called the millennium. This is a symbol of a long period of time where the influence of the dragon is restrained. It represents a season where the values of the Lamb, peace, justice, and love are given space to grow on earth. Whether you view this as a literal 1,000 years or a symbolic long time, the meaning is the same. The dark forces do not have the final say. There is a period of restoration where the world gets a glimpse of what it was always meant to be. The next major symbol is the great white throne and the books. John says the books were opened, and then another book was opened, called the Book of Life. This is a beautiful image of memory. It suggests that nothing in our lives is lost. Every act of kindness, every tear shed in private, and every choice we made is recorded in the books of our history. But the Book of Life is the one that matters most. It's the record of our connection to the source of life. It's a symbol of grace, showing that at the end of the day, our identity isn't defined by our mistakes, but by who we belong to. Finally, we get to the New Jerusalem. This is the climax of the whole vision. John sees a city coming down from heaven, and it's described in incredible detail. It's a perfect cube, which in the ancient world was the shape of the Holy of Holies in the temple. This means the entire city is now the presence of the divine. There is no temple in the city because the whole city is a temple. The walls are made of jasper, and the streets are gold so pure it's transparent. This is a symbol of a society where there are no secrets, no shadows, and no hidden agendas. Everything is clear. Everything is light. Around the city are 12 gates, each made from a single pearl. Think about how a pearl is formed. It's the result of an oyster's response to a wound. An irritant enters the shell, and the oyster covers it in layer after layer of beauty. The fact that the gates are pearls is a symbol that the entrance into the new world is through the pearl of past suffering that has been redeemed and turned into something beautiful. Your wounds aren't just healed. They become the very way you enter into glory. Inside the city, there is the river of the water of life, clear as crystal, flowing from the throne. On either side of the river is the tree of life. Remember that tree from the very first book of the Bible? It's back, and John says its leaves are for the healing of the nations. This is a massive symbol. It means that the end of the story isn't just about individuals being saved. It's about the healing of entire cultures, ethnicities, and nations. The conflicts that have torn humanity apart for thousands of years are finally mended. The tree that was lost in the beginning is now part of a great city, showing that humanity has moved from a garden to a community. One of the most touching symbols in the New Jerusalem is that there is no more sea. Remember what we said earlier. The sea was a symbol of chaos, separation, and danger. In the new world, that separation is gone. There is no more distance between people or between the human and the divine, and John says the Creator will wipe away every tear from their eyes. This is the most intimate image in the book. The same power that moves the stars and tames the dragons is described as reaching out to perform the most tender act of comfort. It tells us that the goal of history isn't just a political victory, but a personal restoration. So, why does the book of Revelation use all these crazy animals and glowing metals? Because some truths are too big for plain language. If I tell you good wins, that's a nice sentence. But if I show you a lion who is also a lamb, a city made of light, and a tree whose leaves heal the world, that enters your imagination and stays there, the symbols are meant to give us a gut feeling of hope. They are designed to remind us that even when the beasts of our modern world, whether they are systems of greed, violence, or despair, seem to be in control, there is a deeper reality. When you see a beast in the news, Revelation tells you it's just a 6, 3 times over. It's failing even while it tries to dominate. When you feel like your prayers are disappearing into the ceiling, Revelation shows you the golden bowls of incense in the throne room. When you feel like the world is a chaotic ocean, Revelation shows you the sea of glass. These symbols are tools for survival. They were written for people who were being persecuted, people who had lost their homes and their families, and they were meant to say, "Don't be afraid. The Lamb has already won." The hidden meaning isn't a timeline of future wars, it's a map of spiritual reality. It tells us that history has a direction. We aren't just spinning in circles. We are moving toward a marriage feast, a city of light, and a world where everything sad comes untrue. Every gem, every number, and every horse is a part of that map. The jasper, sapphire, chalcedony, and emerald of the city walls represent the diversity and the richness of the redeemed life. The fact that the gates are never shut means there is no more fear. In the ancient world, to reveal something didn't mean to predict the future. It meant to take the covers off something that was already there. That's what a revelation or an apocalypse is. It's pulling back the curtain on the present. It's showing us that even right now, in the middle of our messy, complicated lives, the Lamb is on the throne, the incense is rising, and the New Jerusalem is descending. We are invited to live as citizens of that city today. We are invited to reject the marks of the beast, the greed and the hate, and to take on the seal of the Creator. The book of Revelation ends with a very simple symbol, an invitation. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." And it ends with the promise of morning star. Before the sun rises, the morning star appears in the darkest part of the night. It's the sign that the dawn is inevitable. That is the message of the whole book. We might be in the dark part of the night, but the morning star has already appeared. The dawn is coming, the city is ready, and the healing of the nations is underway. By decoding these symbols, we find a story that is much bigger than we imagined. It's a story that spans from the first tree in the garden to the last tree in the city. It's a story where every dragon is defeated, every tear is dried, and every pearl tells a story of suffering turned into beauty. It's a book of immense comfort masquerading as a book of mystery. So the next time you open Revelation and see a beast with 10 horns or a rainbow-colored throne, don't get confused. Look for the Lamb, look for the light, and remember that you are looking at the finish line of the greatest story ever told. The symbols of Revelation are not there to keep us out, but to draw us in. They invite us to use our holy imagination to see the world not as it appears to be, but as it truly is. A world where truth is stronger than lies, where sacrifice is stronger than power, and where the end is just the beginning of a brand new day. This is the heart of the vision. And it's a vision that has kept hope alive for 2,000 years. It's a vision that says, no matter how loud the trumpets blow or how fierce the dragons roar, the Lamb is standing, the sea is glass, and the morning star is rising. The city of gold, the river of life, and the gates of pearl are not just future promises. They are the realities that define our hope. They remind us that our work, our prayers, and our lives have a permanent home in the heart of the universe. Every stone in the wall of that new city is a life that refused to give in to the beast. Every drop of water in that river is a grace that never runs dry. And every leaf on that tree is a promise that healing is possible for everyone. Thank you for walking through this vision with us. The book of Revelation is a deep well, and we've only just scratched the surface. But I hope these symbols now feel less like a mystery and more like a map. Keep your eyes on the morning star, stay faithful to the way of the Lamb, and remember that the story ends in a city of light where there is no more night. The vision is true, the hope is real, and the dawn is closer than you think. Keep exploring the depth of the Word, and let the light of the new city guide your steps every single day. The curtains have been pulled back, the symbols have been spoken, and the invitation is still open. Come and see the world as it was meant to be. The Lamb has won, the glory is coming, and you are part of the story. Stay blessed, stay curious, and keep looking up. The end is just the beginning.